from Digivation Global Network. This is Digivation Network with Bayeru Agabi. Digivation Network, where the digital society makes sense.
Hello and welcome to the program, Africa's leading ICT innovation and digital news program on television, Digivation Network. In this edition, we are having a special one with Africa's biggest telecoms regulator, Professor Umar Garba-Dambata. The focus of the encounter is on 5G, its benefits, plus NCC activities during the coronavirus pandemic. Stay with us. Since the world encountered COVID-19, economies and social lives across the globe has not remained the same. Many economies have become sick, while individuals and organizations have witnessed collapse or operating at half capacity. To others, it has led to the advent of new industries, innovations, and ideas. To continue in operations, some organizations came up with innovative ways to sustain growth and remain in business. One of such is the Nigeria Communications Commission (NCC). In the words of the Executive Vice Chairman and CEO, Professor Umar Garba-Dambata, the NCC has not shut down completely.
We are doing everything possible in the Nigerian Commission to give more support to the youth so that they can be able to come up with these innovative ideas. As I'm talking to you, we have a challenge coming up, where young Nigerians can participate in a COVID innovation challenge, where we can be able to select quite a few that have excellent ideas about what, they can add value in the area of challenges we are facing, during and after the COVID-19.
In addition, the NCC has embarked on the following activities and more during the COVID-19. The NCC Virtual Hackathon, which support, amongst other things, the development of innovative services and life-changing solutions, leveraging on information and communications technologies to promote indigenous content development, economic growth, and social advancement in Nigeria. To achieve this, the Commission invited entries from tech hubs, startups, and innovative digital SMEs with promising and adaptable digital solutions that will aid in containing the impact of the pandemic and epidemic-prone diseases in Nigeria to a virtual hackathon. Another is keeping children safe online during COVID-19. This is because of the effect COVID-19 pandemic has brought to bear and a shift in the norms, putting more activities, including the education of children, online, and many other stakeholders' virtual meetings and conferences, too many to mention. One of the major controversies thrown up by COVID-19 is whether or not 5G or fifth generation networks has anything to do with COVID-19 or perhaps can transmit it. On this, we seek the views of the regulator through the head of the commission, Professor Umar Garba-Dambata, CEO EVC.
5G is the latest, communications technology, in the same category as 2G, which is being phased out in many countries. Okay, so when you talk of 2G, you remember the handsets with the antenna sticking out? That one was supporting just audio applications. You would, draw out the antenna and then you call. So it was supporting only audio. Then we move on to 3G. And we found, in addition to audio messaging, that you can do text messaging, okay, as well as video, okay. So there is an addition of the features of those features, beautiful features that were in 2G. There was an enhancement of more features in the 3G technology. Then all of a sudden, 4G setting, then in addition to all this triple play, meaning voice, video, messaging applications, then you have data services now supported, by 4G. Okay, and it is being said that 4G is a technology that drives data services. Everybody knows this in this country. Okay, 4G LTE, the technology that is putting data on the front burner of all activities, social, commercial, and governmental activities. Then, if we are aware about the beautiful features of 4G, the speed with which you can upload and download documents, the speed you can access the internet, okay? The challenges that you encounter when using 3G, the delay, several attempts, that we normally make to access the internet. You find you don't have these challenges with 4G. It is quick, okay? It is more reliable. It has more features, okay? Above all, it is supporting data services. And data is what all of us talk about here. Nigerians are aware about what data can do, okay? Immediately what comes regularly to mind is WhatsApp. If I buy a data bundle, then I can do WhatsApp. Meaning I can even do, voice, application with data. Then another enhanced technology came in, the 5G. And it has major features. I will mention about 2 or 3. It has very, very low latency, meaning the way, the signal containing our, speeches, our text messaging, and so on and so forth, travel, from the source, meaning from me to you, is at speed of 1 millisecond. So you can imagine, 1 millisecond, a fraction of a second, is so fast. Then, of course, it is also supporting enhanced broadband services, meaning in 4G, we have broadband services, but this one is even going to enhance those mobile broadband services. Okay, in terms of what? In terms of capacity, meaning volume. Okay, many people can be able to, be aggregated into the same channel without any loss in the integrity.
On the relationship 5G waves has on health-related issues, Professor Gabata has this to say.
Communications technologies have one thing in common. They need spectrum. The spectrum is the resource that facilitates everything we're doing, from voice, internet, and data transmission. And because these are contained in signals, and these signals are transmitted, okay, predominantly in Nigeria, from base transceiver stations into the air, okay? So in the same way, television signals are transmitted omnidirectionally using antennas that transmit equally well in all directions. So are transmission, communication, antennas. Meaning the environment we live in, consists of all kinds of signals, among them communication signals. Now, the concern of the Nigerian Communications Commission is that the communication signals coming out of antennas that transmit communication signals containing messages, voice, data, content, is that those signals are not harmful to Nigerians, that they are not going to have any adverse health effect on the citizens of this country. That can only be guaranteed if the signals are within a certain limit. So says the International Commission for Non-Ionization Radiation Protection. So all signals are hazardous. But if they are contained within a certain limit, then they are safe. The TV signals, you see kids going very close to the screen, watching TV. There is exposure there to TV signals. But because the level of the signal coming out of the TV screen is so small that this will not harm the kid that goes very close to the TV in order to watch. Okay? The same thing applies with communication signals, telecommunication signals. They are even smaller in magnitude than TV signals, and therefore are perfectly safe.
To buttress the views of the EVC of NCC, we met with the President and CEO of the Digital Bridge Institute, DBI, Professor Mohamed Ajia. To him, the 5G is a technology meant to improve human development safely.
The 5G technology actually is addition, of other services that the 4G could not take. For example, the 4G is done to enhance, the speed at which we use the internet. Now 5G will be much more enhanced than the 4G. For example, you have a file that you want to download from the internet. That's all you require is you will find it on the internet. Supposing you want to download a file, say a film, a movie, So with 4G technology, if that movie, supposing is big enough to be downloaded in say 3 minutes, with the 4G. In 5G, you would download it in 3 seconds. So it just gives you a high speed. In 3G, it may take you 2 hours to download what you can download in 4G, in 3 minutes or so. And then in 5G, seconds. The 5G will enable a tremendous bandwidth. When we say bandwidth, it's like, for example, I said to you, you have a pipe. In our houses, we use half-inch pipe, 2-inch pipe, and we use 4 inches for waste, So if you put a half-inch pipe and put a water, and put a 4-inch pipe and fill it up with water, you can imagine the quantity, So if it is half-inch, a very small pipe, you take a small quantity. If you have a big pipe, you have a large number of quantity of water. It's similar to bandwidth. When you have high bandwidth, you put so many signals and messages going in, And once you have a small bandwidth, you are limited to the number of messages you are going to send. And that is why we want the huge bandwidth. The fiber optic is, as of today, is the transmission medium that has about 75 terahertz bandwidth. We are not getting near enough, a fraction of that bandwidth. And the important thing is that the optical fiber is not bigger than 1 strand of this your hair. When you remove 1 hair from your head, and look at this, the diameter of the optical fiber is not as big as that one. And it has this massive bandwidth.
5G is the 5th generation technology standard for cellular networks, which cellular phone companies began deploying worldwide in 2019. The planned successor to the 4G networks, which improve connectivity to most current cell phones. Like its predecessor, 5G networks are cellular networks in which the service area is divided into small geographical areas called the cells.
Every technology that comes into this country, and although we're technology neutral, but we insist that we monitor the level of emissions from base transceiver stations using that kind of technology. And then the idea behind monitoring is to ensure that the signal strength coming out is below the acceptable limits. Because if they are above the acceptable limits, then they will cause, harm citizens who subscribe to telecommunication services. This same measure preceded the deployment of 2G in this country. It preceded the deployment of 3G, 4G, and now 5G.
All 5G wireless devices in a cell are connected to the internet and telephone networks by radio waves through a local antenna in the cell. The advantage of the 5G networks are enormous, as it will create a complete new industry or economies, such as the digital economy, if you like, call it the internet economy.
At Digivation Network, we are about the digital economy, from business enterprise to governance, technology innovation, cybersecurity, and e-commerce. Digivation makes sense of it all. Join Africa's top technology analysis and broadcaster, Bayero Agabi, via youtube.com/Digivision Network or AIT's networks on Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m. Digivision Network, where the digital economy makes sense. Join us.
That is the show for the week. If you have any comment or suggestions for us, please send them to bayeragabi@gmail.com, or better still, you can text the number on your screen or follow all our social media platforms on your screen. Until then, I remain yours sincerely, Bayero Agabi. Peace.
This is Digivation Network.